Yeah. Now that we have successfully created 8 questions, I want to show another thing. Shows another thing, which is sections, creating sections. Now we have just one section. Now I'll show us how creating sections work and what other features we can use or we may not be able to use if we create sections. Now to create a section, we can click on Add New. I will come this way and select section. Now we can upload file. Now anytime we use an upload file option, then everyone who fills the form is required to log into their Microsoft account first before they can fill the form. Anytime there's an upload file option, maybe where the student is expected to upload a file that they had either been working on or they had been told to work on before the day of the test or of the exam, either to have prepared something and they're uploading. Now, for whatever upload file they're uploading, whatever it could have been or whatever it may be, the student needs to log in to their Office accounts first before they can take the test. For all of that, now we click on section to create a new section. Now we'll create section. You can name the section. We can call the section uh, appraisal form or lecturer or course appraisal. Now, if we remember, there's a form that we usually pass out to students during exams, which they are required to fill before the exams. Now, the form can be integrated into the exam, into the form here, into the question here, uh, using these samples I had already created. Let's see. We have something similar here. Where is it? Okay, good. Now this is a section. Now you can call that section, you can name your section anything. You can leave it as section 2 or just name it call it a name. Let's say course course appraisal or students response form. That's it. Students response form. Students students response response form. So we can call it student response section. Students response section. Now, what's in this section? We can leave this description area out. I just leave this out. Now, what are we adding to that section? We could add how likely you to recommend this. Kindly rate the lecturer. Is the lecturer timely to class? Yes, we can say things like that. Now, these are the kind of things we could use this section for. I understand the course very well. This delivery method is very effective. I prefer this method. Now let's try and recreate this in that section. It could also be a question in the first section or in another section. So this could be a question, or we could also use it for the student's response form. Now, if we're doing that, let's come and do this. So we use the option, the linked option, the linked. So and we need just 3 options. So we delete. So what are the 3 options we need? We need yes, really can't say, and no. So I can put yes here, yes on one side, no at the extreme end, and the middle really can't say, really can't say, or really can't tell. Either ways. Now, what are the statements? So we can add statements. We want to repeat the same statement that we have here. We want to repeat the same statements. I understand the course very well. If the answer is yes, let's say yes. So I'm copying this and pasting it directly here. The second statement, this delivery method is very effective. Copy, Control C, and paste. The third option, I prefer this method. Please bear in mind that these are just examples. These are just examples. These are just examples, so I can delete the fourth section. Now, this carries no point, so we can leave the point out. Let's pick the question. The question is copy. Is really the question. This section is for the course survey and attracts no marks. Okay. This section or this question is for the course survey and attracts no marks for participation. So the student needs to know that they're not being scored for whatever they put in here. We want it to be required, so that means they must fill it before they can move to the next question. Now we've done this, and we can now go to the next question. What's the next option we have? After this, we can have a ranking. Okay, good. I think I can also put something like this. Will you prefer to take your next tests on Moodle or Microsoft? Please still bear in mind these are just sample questions. These are just questions. They're just sample questions. And we have suggested options yes, no, maybe. Yes, no, maybe. Copy. Let's copy. So is a rating, sorry, a choice question, Control V. How will you prefer to have your next text? How will you prefer to take your next text? So we will say Moodle, class, classroom, add another option. Um, let's say Microsoft's Office 365. So this also carries no marks. You can see there's no point attached. It's also required. We don't want to shuffle it, so we can leave the shuffle option off. And let's see what other thing do we have. We can have rates, okay. Kindly rate the lecturer. Let's take this as another question, or kindly rate the. These are just questions, not intended for anything, but these are just examples. So can copy this and add a new option. Now this is this is rating. Want to rate, Control V. Kindly rate the lecturer. We want 5 levels and we want stars. 1 star, so the 5 star, 4 star, 3 star, like that. Required, no points, no label. So now we're done with this. Now I'll show us something before I move on. Now we have created a section here. This is how our students will see it. Until they finish section 1, they cannot move to section 2. So this is what they see. So let's go back to our home preview. We see the whole question down to 11. Now the difference in settings. Now we're going to set the questions. I have 2 questions here. One has sections. This one has no sections. Now this other one has a section. Now let's see what happens. What we've done here is that we have shuffled all our multiple choice questions. Can you remember we shuffled the question? We told the system to shuffle. Can you remember? We shuffled the options. Now, when we come to setting, we'll come this way, more from settings, and click on settings. Now, the settings here allows us to do a couple of things. Now, the first option in setting is to show results automatically after the students have taken the exam or the test. It's usually on by default. Now, but what we'll do is, because the lecturer still needs to come to responses to review some of the questions himself, we take that option off. So we switch this option off when we have questions that needs review by the lecturer. Now, the only time it's advisable to have this on is for our quizzes and tests, where all the options does not need the lecturer's review, where they are auto-reviewed by the system, meaning they are either short answer questions or objective questions or subjective questions. So we can leave this on. So in our own case, we turn this off. Then the next option here says who can fill this form. Now we don't want the form to be available to everyone in our organization. We want only people in our organization, that's those who have Bells University on Microsoft accounts, to be able to fill the form. How many times do we want them to take the test? One response per person. So that means they have one chance at taking this test. Now, if we take this, that means a student can come, take the tests, come back, take the test again, come back and take the test again within the stipulated time period. So we leave this ticked, we tick it and allow this. Now, the next option here is accept responses. Now, do we want the form to start accepting response? We'll tick this. If we untick it, recipients aren't able to fill out and submit this form. We can see. So until this is ticked, then we can now set a start date. When do we want the test to hold? Do we want it to hold today at 4 a.m.? Do we want it to hold or to open to start at whatever time we want to start? We'll put it. So let's select by default. Let's say we want this test to start at 8 a.m. Now, for the purpose of the training. Now, what time do we want the test to end? We can set a end date and time. We want it to end on Thursday at what time? Let's say 6 p.m. on Thursday. Now, can we notice that shuffle question is not enabled here? Now, the reason shuffle question is not enabled is because we have two sections. Now, when we have sections in our question, shuffle questions will not be enabled. Now, let's compare it with this other form where we have just one section, or we didn't create any section rather. So if you look at the setting here, we'll see that shuffle question is enabled. Now, what shuffle question does is it allows you to shuffle all your questions. So candidate A, student A's number 1 will be student B's number 7, and could be student C's number 5. You understand? So apart from shuffling the options, we can also shuffle the questions. Now, this option is only available when we have no section created. So that means all the questions are in one page or one section, so to say. So back to our form, we cannot shuffle options, shuffle questions. Now, when we shuffle question, we still have an option to shuffle all the questions or lock certain questions. So if we want to lock a series of questions as compulsory, let's say we want to lock question 1, 2, 3 without shuffling, we can say lock 1 to 3 or 1 to 4. If we want to lock question 5, let's say 2 to 6, we can say 2 here and type 6 here, depending on what we want to lock. Now, whatever we're locking, we pull them to the same range, so we can select them here to lock those questions, and it shuffles all other questions. So in our own case here, we're shuffling all the questions, we're not leaving anything locked. So that is for settings. Now, the next is customize a thank you message. Now, you can choose to customize a thank you message here. This is optional and not really, can just leave it open. So it tells the students that their response has been submitted. After this is done, we don't need to save. We can come to share, copy. Please note that only people in my organization can respond is selected and not anyone with the link. So with this, we can copy, click on copy, and we have copied the link to the test, ready to be shared to the students so they